Что Nokia из себя представляет сейчас?
We are specializing on designing the products which are acting in the mission critical networks in a large service providers to transport data. So if you look at the internet today, on a global worldwide internet, if you send one packet from one side of the world over the globe, it's definitely going to cross the Nokia device. So we have devices, we have something like 25% market share in IP routing edge. We are market leader in the broadband access, the optical networks, the GPON technologies. We are number 2 market share in transport networks in the optic. The security in the network is a very important aspect, what needs to be built up. And also one of key differentiators what we have today is actually to pay focus on the very effective from power consumption, the devices which are used to create the networks, how to make very effective, stable and robust software. We pay a lot of attention on how the quality software is implemented in our devices, and how to make the communication predictable, programmable and secure. Info sessions to provide conferences, to interact and get engaged with the professionals in the internet and industry and networking in Tajikistan. And this, I think, is the main goal to actually support Tajikistan in this new digital era. There are also trends with the new AI, which are very interesting. We see Central Asia is actually on a crossroad between Asia and Europe, and it's very important segment and a huge development with a lot of potential here. You need to have a communication between the applications which are going to be used in the gadgets, in the tablets, in the governments, in the businesses, to the data centers where the applications will be done. At the same time, you need to have the communication between the data centers at the edge side and the developers who are actually contributing in this AI development. This all will require the low latency, high capacity communication infrastructure between the homes, between the residentials, between the industries, between the corporations, between the regional, national data centers and international data centers. So for that, you immediately trigger a new demand of, let's say, the networks which are very reliable, which are to some extent also controlled by the AI, because you have AI elements who are driving the industry, and then you have also the networks who are supporting AI, and AI controlling the networks. In a way, like in today's very complex world, it's not so easy to follow each communication stream on a data network. So we are using also the AI agent to work, for example, with the service assurance, with the service provisioning, with the service optimizations. As already discussed, we see the huge trend of requirements how to provide the data protection for users and for networks, for the network infrastructure. So one way to provide the data protection is provide solid encryption when the data are transmitted across the network. We at Nokia, we are working on different standardizations. We have already implemented the AnySec or quantum safe encryption capabilities in our devices, which we communicate on the networks. Another way of domain or trend, which we see specifically in last 3, 4, 5 years, is enormous growth of DDoS attacks. DDoS, denial of service attacks. In the past, maybe 3 years ago, these DDoS were mostly like volumetric, so basically like data impacting with a large volume particular IP address to disable the device. The trend, which is maybe in last 2 years, is about growth of different botnets. Botnet can be basically video camera in your house, can be parking machine on a street. There are a lot of um, activities where different countries are deploying the smart cities, the smart homes. All of these devices, the smart devices, the IoTs, can be actually imposed by the bad software, malware, and basically provide and be used as a DDoS attack. On one side, when the internet broadband traffic grows year over year, 28%, this also creates a huge risk. We are basically building up, and we build up effectively the complete secure map of internet. We see which are these IP addresses or devices which can be imposed in these DDoS attacks. And we developed a technology based on our deep field solution, which enables deep packet understanding and the understanding of all these attacks, and to able to detect the traffic, the DDoS attack within a seconds, and to start immediately mitigating the attack. So we say comfortably that within a seconds we detect and we mitigate these attacks to provide safe networks. If you see today on internet, there are hundreds and thousands of devices, and these devices are coming with the software from typically, and you as a typical user, you are probably not experts in security, so you are not changing the passwords, you are not providing regular software upgrades. So your devices, your household can be actually source of a possible malware sitting in your home and be actually put in a large set of DDoS, which for example can be attacking, bank to disable the bank. It's about security, so people don't like to talk about what measures I have taken to provide data and security network protection on my network. I can tell you we have a number of deployments already in Central Asia, not in Tajikistan, but in neighboring countries. And we have probably over hundreds of very successful deployments worldwide, specifically coming in Europe, in North America. As Misha mentioned, the DDoS attack, maybe 3 years ago, to provide 100 gigabit DDoS attack, the price was about $2,000. When the broadband actually grown up and becomes everything is now available, accessible, you can order from dark internet a DDoS attack for $10, $20, $5. So for example, 100 gig DDoS attack today, price of $10, $20, the bad guys can actually do. So there is really a huge trend and a lot of concerns of how the companies, the banks, the clients, the governments, the networks, how they are investing to provide security and to cope with this type of risk. So we have built up, I would say, unique engine, which is scanning 24 hours globally all billions of IP addresses and ports worldwide. So we see, for example, that the device or device type, etc., has been engaged in this type of activities. And our clients who decide to deploy Nokia DDoS protection, they will get access to this database. We install the similar engine on the network of these clients. And basically, there is a real-time communication, and also, by the way, powered by the AI, because AI is a very effective tool of how to communicate, how to gather information. So the DDoS Defender powered by AI is a very critical element in our solution, how to cope with that. I think we see also the trends worldwide, which is making the mobile and the fixed network convergence. So this is one of the topics, for example, that traditionally network operators were building up parallel networks, one for fixed internet and one for wireless internet. The most economical way, which we see in trends coming maybe a year ago, which is implemented already in some of the European countries or in the Middle East and in America, is how to converge the networks so that you can provide the broadband internet services also in the areas where, for example, the fiber has not yet been deployed, where villages are not yet connected with a nice infrastructure. So combination of using the wireless infrastructure and the broadband network gateway, which can terminate both wireline, GPON, fiber, or wireless communication on a single platform and provide the high-speed internet to communication, is one of the areas which we see as very promising and very useful for Tajikistan. Another topic which we have not touched, but I believe is also long-term goal of how Nokia wants to be present in the market, is to work with the large enterprises and the government. Nokia is also very much present in infrastructure, the critical infrastructure communication, in power utility sectors, in a railway, in the military. So all this requires very robust and resilient network communication systems, the infrastructure, where we believe there are ways how to maybe to collaborate also in Tajikistan. So all of these large enterprises require very reliable communication, mission critical communication, and you need to have devices which are capable and provide a very high level of resiliency and redundancy. So you start with the network design, but you also need to have the network elements. We are also specializing and paying a lot of R&D into the data center infrastructure, data center fabric infrastructure for large companies, web scale, top 5, top 6 companies who are, some of them are our big customers, but also we see a need to build up today as a new trend, the large capacity data centers with the full automation and full resiliency. This is also linked, for example, to the AI, what we discussed, that there is a trend that you will have the GPUs or specialized servers, specialized computes who are going to be processing the AI communication, and there is also going to be the trend of bringing the edge data centers, so the small data centers closer to the homes, closer to the consumers. So data center infrastructure as well as communication for between data centers are the critical focus of Nokia as well. 99.999% uptime, because if you are making solutions for the airports, for air traffic control, for railways, if you talk about critical communication, or if you talk about building up infrastructure for energy grid, for distribution, you have a lot of legacy protocols which are used from the past. You have a lot of industry protocols which are used by very specific applications. So your devices need to be capable of keeping the communication at this level at the maximum time. And there we see actually the trend, because you probably will not build up a network at the airport from data switch or device which you buy in a supermarket. I am very much pleased to see very friendly people I have met so far. It looks like there is very beautiful nature in the country. I think people in West Europe, maybe, at least if I make a reference to myself, they might not understand what is the new Tajikistan. They might live in some legacy view that some country in Central Asia. So I'm very positive, surprised, and I really look forward to work and to come more frequently.